Imagine your smoke detector screaming when you simply make toast. That's exactly what PTSD does inside the human brain sometimes. It isn't weakness or overreacting or unwillingness to cope. It's a survival system that got rewired by extreme danger. Think of the amygdala like an alarm that constantly scans. After trauma, the amygdala becomes hypersensitive and fires too often. A smell, a sound, a crowded street can trigger panic instantly. Little cues become enormous because the alarm mistakes them for smoke. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex usually offers calm reasoning and perspective. But trauma can reduce its activity like a weak Wi-Fi signal, so logic's voice grows faint while survival impulses shout louder. Now that's why someone can know safety yet still feel threatened. The hippocampus normally organizes memories and places events in time. Trauma can disrupt it, so memories feel stuck in present tense. Flashbacks aren't just thoughts, but sensory memories relived as if now. Images, sounds, body sensations, even smells transport someone back instantly and vividly. The body's emergency system also gets hijacked by chronic stress responses. The HPA axis governs cortisol release, responding to perceived threats continually. With PTSD, that system becomes dysregulated and unpredictable in pattern. Cortisol may spike or stay oddly low while arousal continues. The autonomic nervous system remains poised as if danger persists constantly. This produces nightmares, hypervigilance, muscle tension, startle responses, and insomnia regularly. Emotional numbness and sudden panic episodes also reflect this ongoing alarm. PTSD tends to show up in three overlapping clinical shapes often. First, hyperarousal, where a person feels always on edge constantly. They are jumpy, irritable, scanning environments for any possible danger. Their heart races, breathing becomes shallow, and sleep often breaks down. It's like a smoke detector that blares at every small spark. Second are intrusive memories and vivid reliving of traumatic scenes repeatedly. These intrusions include images, sounds, sensations, and repetitive distressing dreams, frequently. They are not deliberate thoughts, but sensory fragments stuck in loops. The brain stores them in survival circuits, not in coherent narratives. Third is avoidance and emotional numbing as a protective strategy. People avoid places, people, or reminders to prevent alarm activation. They also withdraw, feel detached, or describe themselves as emotionally blank. Avoidance reduces immediate distress but reinforces the sense of danger over time. Importantly, PTSD is not merely psychological or a character flaw. It's neurobiology, showing how deeply the brain and body interact. The survival circuitry holds body-based memories, not just story memories. That is why typical reasoning often fails to silence the alarm. Small triggers feel enormous because the brain evaluates similarity extremely fast. A smell or time of day can match encoded threat representations instantly. The reaction happens in milliseconds before conscious thought even arrives sometimes. It's automatic, reflexive, and difficult to predict or control on demand. Despite this, there is hopeful evidence that the brain can heal. PTSD is not a permanent arrested brain state by any means. With targeted interventions, the alarm can be recalibrated and trust rebuilt. Trauma-focused therapies can help rewire connections between emotion and thought. Cognitive processing, exposure, and EMDR are examples with strong supporting evidence. Somatic approaches teach the nervous system new ways to regulate arousal. Medications such as SSRIs can assist in stabilizing mood and symptoms. Grounding techniques and vagus nerve regulation provide practical calming strategies too. Most critically, safe, stable relationships offer context for relearning safety. Again, recovery involves consistent practice time, patience, and often professional guidance too. It's important to validate that having PTSD is not personal failure. The brain did what it was built to do, it protected. But protection became persistent and now produces suffering in everyday life. Describing PTSD as a smoke detector stuck on hypersense helps. The metaphor captures both the protective intent and the distressing result. It also highlights that the system can be adjusted with care. In practical terms, this means therapies for body, emotion, and cognition. It means tools for immediate grounding and longer-term exposure work. It means medications when appropriate and strong social support when possible. For people living with PTSD, triggers may always appear without warning. Preparing grounding plans and supportive routines can reduce the power of triggers. Simple practices like breathing grounding objects and predictable sleep patterns help. Families and friends benefit from understanding this brain-based explanation too. Blame and stigma erode trust, while empathy and patience encourage healing. If you have PTSD, you deserve kindness, validation, and competent clinical care. If you support someone, listen, learn, and offer consistent, non-judgmental presence, the alarm in their brain is trying to keep them safe. Your steadiness can become part of the relearning that calms the system. Science shows recovery is possible, and many people experience meaningful improvement. The smoke detector can be reset through therapy time and relational repair. Notice that healing is rarely linear, but progress is frequently real. Nonetheless, celebrate small wins and expect setbacks without equating them to failure, always. Ultimately, PTSD reveals the incredible power and imperfect logic of survival systems. It is not an identity, but a treatable response to overwhelming events. With help, the brain can re-establish boundaries between past threat and present safety. The alarm can learn nuance again and stop screaming at toast. If you're watching this, know your reactions have understandable brain roots. There is hope, science, and compassionate care ready to support your recovery. The smoke detector imagery invites both empathy and practical steps toward healing. Remember, the brain was protecting you. Now it can be guided to trust. With patience, support, and evidence-based care, the alarm will learn to rest,